Hey, hey, say what? It's the Dusty Dan, the Shack 'em Up man. It's the Dusty Dan. He's the Shack 'em Up man. Hey, say what? It's that Dusty Dan. He's the Shack 'em Up man. It's that Dusty Dan. Let's talk about the Shack 'em Up man. Oh wow. So there is this couple. They've been together, as I understand, like forever. We're talking about, I think, like 15 years. My understanding was that they were married. I thought they were already married. You know, they're saying about how long they've been together, and they never have said that they weren't married. You know what I'm saying? So something recently came up at a dinner, and the man, the Dusty Dan, and this lady is foreign, so she came here across the water. She had a little business going. Go get it, girl. And she was making a little change. He stopped it. Just give you some background information. They have no children. He has been married before. So something came up about some paperwork, and he said something that the other men are saying is incorrect. He alluded to the fact that if on the paperwork that they found out that he was married, that he would receive less money, and they're like, no, that's not how it goes. What's going on? So basically, as I understand, maybe like some kind of, I'm assuming, a pension or something. And I'm like, on a pension? Normally the wife is listed. So in the event, if the husband, because women seem to typically outlive men, in the event the husband passes on and the wife is still here, then she will get a check. Okay, trust me, I've already checked on that pension, so she'll get a check. So let's say if your husband is getting $70,000 a year, okay, in benefits. Well, if he passes on, you will get a reduced amount. So it may like, okay, he's getting 70, but if something happens to your husband, then you're going to get 58 or 60,000 a year. Okay, so and you divide that up by a month. So what if he's getting, let's say, 6,000 a month? Then if he were to pass on, then you may not get the 72, but you'll get the $6,000 a month. But hey, you think about it, $6,000 a month. And are you still working and have a business? You got your own thing going on, some, a side hustle or something. That's tax-free income, I think. Check with your accountant. I'm not giving you kind of financial advice. So that's my understanding. Okay? That's what you would get on their pension. So check with their accountant in regards to that. But anyway, so he comes up and says, oh, no, we can't do that because we're really not married. Because what happened, he was pretty much, they held those little dusty feet to the fire, Dusty Dan, the Shack 'em Up man. So it's like, well, you are married, right? And so that's when he went ahead and admitted that for 15 years, they've been shacking up, living together. And the state that they have been living together in, it is not a common law state. So you can't say, hey, we live together, so we are considered common law marriage. It ain't that kind of party. So then it came up with, because I was like, I thought they were married. So then it came up with, so you're saying that you're not married? No, we're not. We live together. He's been divorced. Then the man, so pretty much he got checked. Brad, they checked him. Okay, so if you're not married, you're divorced. I mean, you're not married. If something happens to her, and pensions, I'm sorry to tell you, they don't care about baby mama. They don't care about girlfriend. Unless, like I said, you got a common law state that could be applicable. Check it out for yourself. They want to know who's the spouse. They may even ask for a marriage certificate. What you going to do? You don't have one. So then it came up, okay, so all this time you've been living together, you're not married. So oh, by the way, he getting a little sickly, by the way. Yeah, that's what I want to, that's how it came out. He getting a little sickly. So if you're not legally married and now he getting sickly, if something were to happen to you, and he's kind of old. Well, he's not old. He's like, it's kind of young, but you never know. To be getting sickly stuff going on. I think he's like maybe mid-50s or something. I thought, wow, he really catching it. So it's like, okay, so if something happens to you, the house you had before is in your name, so that's not going to go to her unless you have a will in place. So if something does happen to you, what is she going to do? You already told her going to shut down her business. She does not have any income of her own coming in. She is completely 100% dependent upon you financially for everything. So if something were to happen to you, what's going to happen to her? Do you have a life insurance policy? No. She's not on your pension? No. So she hasn't worked in the country long enough and maybe to get some kind of, I don't know what, social security check? No. And I think she's like maybe in her 40s. So she's younger than he is. So she can't get social security check. She doesn't have any money of her own, doesn't have her own income. So if something happens to you, what's going to happen to her? He came all of a sudden, Mr. Smart Mouth is crickets. Hello, are you there? Dusty Dan. Hello, little white Tyrone. Is anyone home? Can you hear me? Saying nothing. Because you know what the answer is. So that's when the other men put him in check. You have a wife you have a woman that's been living with you as a spouse 15 years, cooking and cleaning, start a business to make some money. You have her to shut it down. She stops doing that. And then you have the audacity to say you don't want to marry her. It's going to mess up your benefits, which is a lie. So basically, you're going to be leaving her destitute. And he didn't say, well, hey, we're gonna go ahead and plan on to get married so I can take care of her. Nothing like that was said. So I'm just listening. Basically, that's why I said, Dan, the shack 'em up man. You're going to leave her. She's just on her own. And she's there too listening. Oh my gosh. I'm like, wow. So we got home. I said, listen, this man, I said, you know what? He is already kind of weird. I said, I'm going to say right now. I said, I don't think he likes women. See, women think because a man takes you in and he sleep with you and whispers some words in your ear that he loves you. He might like you for the activity, but you have to understand too. Some men, they only like women for one thing, to cook and clean and have relations with, get intimate with. Other than that, they don't want to see you get ahead. They might like women so they can go ahead and be the dominant partner. And so her starting that little business and making some money, on that he wants to stop it because, hey, that business is bringing her in some money. She might get independent, so stop that. And she just stops it. He doesn't want to take care of her for later on. So ask yourself, why is that? He doesn't really love you like you say he does. This man doesn't care about you as you may think. So she came over here, across a different country. He's not willing to take care. In case something happens, he hasn't made any plans for you. It speaks volumes. You don't have no paperwork, no nothing. I already know. Hope nothing does happen. But in the event something does happen, hey, you already listed on the paperwork. You just say, hey, this occurred, blah, blah, blah. Most women do. But sitting up here, I said, I really think he harbors something against women and he may like to see a woman suffer. So stop and think. If he has been given a diagnosis, I said, if I were her, I would start, but I mean, everybody's different. I wouldn't stay 15 years. Now it might be time to start putting you a profile child. I would start making me some moves, getting me a job and everything. And now he getting a sickly issue, which I like. Oh my gosh, I've heard about that. Ooh, 24/7 care. I wouldn't be you'd be a fool to sign up for a maid service. Even a maid getting paid. So if something happens to him, she has nothing. Go out there and look for. Well, I haven't worked in the past 11 years. Really, she hasn't even had a job because she started a cleaning service. That was making some money. He cut that down. He ended that. Don't want you to be successful. So she really hasn't had a job here in America. So what you gonna do? Because you see people together, coupled up and booed up, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors. I said, this man, he doesn't love her. And I said, he comes off as mean. I said, I think he really hates women. I think he really hates women. Let's take it further. How the heck do you know he might not have married her for a reason? I thought about it. He's been divorced. How do you know he doesn't have the other wife, the first wife's name, still on those papers? And he knows if he gets married and submits the new certificate of marriage, they're going to put the new one. I said, how do you know that? He might be protecting the first wife. I can tell you one thing, he's not offering little inkling any protection. Here, he's giving you no protection, honey. None. And when he was asked, if something happens to you, what are you gonna? And I thought about it. I said, I said, maybe that's why he's got some bad karma. Sure, good things happen to bad people. We all have our little issues, things that happen. That's life. You don't go through without some challenges. And sometimes those things that you don't see. Just something. And Dark and Lovely, thank you, darling. I appreciate you so much. She's like on the wind. Thank you. You never know what's going to happen. There are things I said, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I said, I made the wrong. I shouldn't have invested in that. Then next thing you know, hey, it turned out to be okay. Point is, we never know what's going to happen. Sometimes we think, oh, this is going to really go great. And it goes like so sour. Trust me, been there, done that, know about it. Got the t-shirt. So bad things happen to people, good and bad. And sometimes we think something is bad, just wait. It might turn out to be for your good. But this case here, I said, he doesn't love her. He does. I said, I think he doesn't like women. I said, I think he wants her to suffer. I think he wants her to suffer because he already knows if something happens to him, what is she going to do? Aside from being stuck out. Girl, good luck. Then I thought about the other issue. So that's one thing to consider. Some women are in relationships, and these men, they really may not feel about you the way we think they do. And I'll just say we, inclusive as women. Actions speak. A man can tell you all day, I love you, I love you. You get into a bind, and he's not there for you. He can't do no more than come up with some empty behind words. Oh no, my purse was taken, and I need to go ahead and get back home. I need you to send me some money for her. Well, I love you, but just wait there. What a hotel gonna be open in about 2 or 3 days, but I want to try. I just want to come home. Well, wait there, see what they can do. He probably hoping they can find it, and maybe you can go ahead and take care of yourself. Well, I need you to go ahead and send me some cash. He never does come through, and he can. Oh, that speaks volumes. Oh, I'm having your children. I'm cooking and cleaning for you, playing wifey, and oh, you get sick, I'm there for you. When are we going to get married? Shh. Well, let's just wait. I'm not ready. Oh, but he always ready for that bedroom because you got 2 kids by him. Before I get to that point, let him. He's not ready. Well, call me when you're ready. And until then, we're gonna go ahead and just pause it. Or, lady, honey, I would say keep your don't get pregnant if you can. Do not get pregnant. Keep your options open. Don't put your eggs in one basket. That basket might be leaking from the bottom. It's leaking from the bottom. I'm not ready for that right now. Oh, and that's fine. It's cool. And if you want to still stay, keep your options open. He might need to get less access to you, and you start dating or start doing things on your own. 15. I think she's broken a record. 15 years. Wow. He's been diagnosed with a sickness. That's what brought the conversation on about the benefits and stuff. And now he's been lying to the girl. So if something happens to her, now everybody knows. Not literally. But so if something happens to her, what is she going to do? Speaks volumes. He doesn't care. Fend for yourself. He might want to see her suffer. Oh, yeah, well, she'll appreciate me more so. He doesn't care. It's working out for him. The house not in your name. It's paid for. Your name is not on the deed. He had that beforehand. Honey, if you can't be number one, then guess what? I will not be there at all. Now, the second thing I want to address is the fact that they were, putting him on blast and, hey, you gonna really do this? Have a woman that's acting as a wife for you, faithfully married for 15 darn years. This girl can't even go to the grocery store by herself. I wonder if she need to help a little sign going, help, help, help me. Sure not going to the mall to do what? He's not gonna give you a card. You better spend your own. Oh, why she doesn't have one? And I thought about it. The fact that they would approach him in this manner, you know what they're doing? They've set a standard. That man is going to with a standard. They set a standard for the women. And that's why they put him on blast like this here. That you're really gonna treat a woman this way for 15 years, and then if you die, she don't have no kind of she doesn't have any kind of no provisions. She not gonna be provided for. If you die, she has nothing. He didn't say anything. Like, just calm down. We gotta. He said nothing's crickets. Speaks volumes. And I thought about it. In our culture, can we do that? No, because baby mom and fatherless homes, that is our norm. They don't want to do that because it's be a provider. A lot of times the women are doing the providing. Even sometimes in marriage, you'll be surprised. I've seen black women married and she is the child. She is the provider. There's no we. Can't even get a 50-50. She is the provider 100% for that entire family. 15 years. So think about it. Why would they step to him? Because they have a standard. Doesn't mean they're gonna be the best husband. I might be acting up, child fooling around doing something. Doesn't mean that. But they do know the appearance of what they've been taught to be a man, to provide for women. This here is Dusty Dan, the shack 'em up man. And I'm glad it was put on blast. But what does that say? There are some communities, they get it. The men on Holland 50-50, and they believe in taking care of the women. See, that's also a representation of you. What kind of man want to have his woman out there struggling and begging? Honey, he'd kick him to the curb. That's why I said, don't care to see the poverty deed. But think about it. That right there is there's a standard set. They've set a standard. The people who think like this here, like this man, they set a standard. They set a standard that, hey, you got to be a provider. Even when you're gone, you don't have anything set for. So when you don't have a standard and you have a matriarchy like we do, the women are used to providing for themselves. And I thought, gee, can you imagine if we had these conversations in the BC? Hate to say it, child, it might end up being a fight because of Dusty that's creating the fatherless homes. You ain't finna stand up to him like that. And it'll be a man backing him up. That's my son. You stay in your lane and you don't worry about what Cletus is doing. Okay? You don't worry about it. These girls did it on their own. They all getting pregnant by him. You leave my son alone. You can't do that with us. Why? We don't have a standard. And we don't have a standard. We don't have a code to protect the women and children. And guess what? You won't have these conversations. You're not going to charge the men up or put them on blast about it. You really doing this. You're really going to let everybody here put them on blast. You're not going to do that. That's our norm. Yeah. That's our norm. So let me know what you all think. Dan, the shack 'em up man, got called out. Why would they call him out? Look at the bigger picture. A standard has been set. And black men, when they go to these other cultures, a lot of them, you got some women dealing with dust buckets, making them, they sitting up here, baby mama too. But when they have something to offer, that's why they don't mind putting it up front, showing it out. They'll sit baking down in a heartbeat, Maria, anybody. Because they want to go, they know it's a standard over there. So how he acts in the BC is not going to be accepted there. So a lot of times, not all the time, but most of the time, that's when they get something they already know. They'll go ahead, shoot, well, what's education? Oh, she got a high school diploma. They'll go ahead and sit that one down. She'll be in a multi-million-dollar house. What? The standard. So stop and think. People are doing what they want to do. And he wants to be accepted so bad. Wants to be accepted so bad. And guess what? He's going to make sure that he adheres to that standard. Gotta make sure he adheres to that standard. Why? People do what they want to do. So Dusty Dan, the shack 'em up man, he got called out because he's the final standard. And that person calling him out, putting him on blast about how to be a real man, they have a standard. That's what they're used to. We don't have that in our community. And that's why so many women are living in poverty. So let me know what you think. I thought about that. How often can that happen in the BC? You can tell these men, hey, you can't go around here creating these fatherless homes. It might end up, especially people that are highly emotional, very volatile, it might end up being a boxing match or somebody might end up getting their eye punched. What? It might end up being a shooting over something just seriously. So yeah, I thought about it. What if this would have happened in the BC? Anyway, you guys, let me know what you think. Thanks for listening. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share. It's Simply Said on YouTube. Love you guys, and I'm out.